This is Jeff Dumbarello, broker of Steelbridge Realty, here to talk about the 2014 Lee County, Florida residential market in review. Disclosure, this is my work done for me and shared with you. The data came from multiple sources. Those sources are the Lee County Clerk of the Court, the City of Cape Coral, the U.S. Census, and the MLS data. About us, we're a licensed real estate brokerage. We use cutting-edge marketing techniques to offer solutions in today's challenging environment. Our group of professionals have decades of experience. And whether you're buying or selling a home, hire someone like us. We want to earn your business. We invite you to contact us. We will be happy to assist you with this important transaction. 5 things you need to know that happened in 2014. Number 1, the distressed market is really an afterthought to everyone but the buyer who waited too long to enter the market and the service providers who made it their entire business model. This is a chart showing the percentages by month of the distressed market, and here lately we're in the 20, all the way from 15 to 21% in 2014. Here's a chart of foreclosures. I made this chart last January, and I was pretty sure we had assumed the new normal status. This is the chart from this year, and we have definitely assumed the new normal status of foreclosures, which is essentially about 125 to 300. Here's the entire foreclosure trend for perspective. This was the second bump. I think a lot of people thought it was going to resemble this as another second wave. Supplying new inventory is one of the market's biggest challenges. Rising prices will induce some sellers to trade out. But then you got to question where you're going to go if you sold your home, and remember you're going to have to buy into the same market. And if you're an investor, you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do with the money? New construction is the answer to the inventory problem. Here's a couple things to think about. The appraisals will hold prices in check for a little bit until the channel's a little better defined. We're seeing that in our day-to-day business now. Interest rates are still very low, which makes homes affordable. We're really in the market missing an entire vintage of about 2008 through 2013. Land is still historically cheap for now, and here's some perspective on the land prices. This is all lots, all lot types in Cape Coral, average and median price. When you're looking at the last cycle, you really don't get what's going on in this cycle. So when I take the shorter view of just this cycle, the Cape lot market is recovering pretty well. The market is stabilizing in relation to the bubbles of activity. We do bubble charts here to kind of let everybody know where most of the people are looking in the market. Last year's bubble chart, this is from when 2013 versus 2012. There's a very clear shift in the market as it shifted over. When I did 13 versus 14, there really isn't that much of a difference. The market's pretty much stabilized with, we're missing some cheaper homes in the $70,000 price range, but we're selling more 170,000 all the way up into the millions. This chart's a neat chart. It shows the last cycle and this cycle by pricing. The red line being the last cycle, the blue line being the current cycle. And you can see that we mimicked the last cycle for a while, and then you're starting to see 04 and 05 in the last cycle pulled wildly away to where we're just getting slight price increases, but not like we did before. And this is really a function of the banks aren't giving out crazy loans. There's no stated income, no stated asset loans. So this is a sustainable market that's actually driven by sensible leverage. Some perspective, we operate in a seasonal and a cyclical market. The seasonality is really determined by our weather. Up north, when it's warmer, is when they're busier in the real estate market. Here, when it's a little cooler, is when we're busier in the real estate market. The cyclical part of our market is governed by demographics, and we're going to talk about something seasonal pricing bumps as well. Right now, we're in a sustainable boom. MIM is money in motion. It's every dollar that flowed through. This is actually dollars sold by realtors. And we had an 8.7 increase in the actual volume in the market. The amount of transactions went up 1.1%. The median is actually rising faster than the average, which shows the bottom of the market is coming up faster than the market itself is correcting. The percentage of bank-owned properties jumped up slightly from 13.6 to 15.05, where short sales really fell off the map. They were 8% of the market in 13, and they're only 3% of the market in 14. And another neat thing to look at, cash sales in 2013, 60.7% were cash in 2013. In 2014, 57%. So you had a decent price increase, and it really wasn't funded by leverage. And to give you a perspective, about 25-30% of the sales in the state of Florida are cash. So we're almost working at twice the cash sales percentage of the state of Florida. Money in motion is a key indicator. As long as the market continues to grow, that's a really good thing. The median's rising higher than the average. We talked about that. We also talked about the cash sales percentage. One thing I learned, if you base your business model on short sales, you need to find something else to do. And we're truly in a market where the buyers are paying slightly more for a slightly older and slightly smaller home. Market specifics. Two asset classes that really jumped out to me are townhouses and manufactured homes are actually growing. By property types, what's interesting to me is the manufactured homes are up 20% in sales counts, as are the townhouses. And when you look at the price increases, they're probably some of the lowest price increases, and that's the market seeking a good quality buy, basically. The single-family homes are up 7%. They just about mimic the market as a whole. A few thoughts on the jump in mobile homes and townhomes. Mobile homes have both a lower cost of entry and a lower cost to keep, and the blue-collar retirees from up north love them because they really only need them for 3 or 4 months of the year because they're still home doing stuff and walleye fishing and playing with the grandkids. But it's a nice, affordable home to get out of the cold weather. Townhouses kind of represent the same if you're adverse to a mobile home purchase. And really and truly, we found within the market that as the site-built homes hit a certain number, the manufactured homes take off, and it's about 3 to 1. So if a site-built home was trading for $300,000, the manufactured homes at $100,000 represent a lot of value to a retiree buyer. This is kind of what happened by city. 2014, what happened by city. And just a year-over-year difference. Punta Gorda's really burnt store, up 15%. That's pretty good. Lehigh Acres up 13%. And when I look down, Captiva's up 27%, which is pretty impressive. Things to watch in 2015. Essentially, you've got a seesaw in the market now with resale homes on one side of the seesaw and new construction on the other. And they're going to trade back and forth. As the new construction takes a leg up, then the resale become attractive, and then vice versa. I'm seeing sometimes in the market where for a 10% increase in price, you can get a brand new home versus a 9-year-old home. That's kind of a no-brainer. Inventory is the key. Whoever can bring some inventory to market is going to make some money. And this applies to both the retail and the investment segment of the market. This is single-family permits in Cape Coral. When you look at the totality of the last cycle, you really don't get that excited about what's going on now. But when I take out the last cycle, it shows you there's some pretty good permit growth. Projection of retirees. We take this from the census, and if you were born 62 years ago, there's a likely chance you're going to retire, and this is in the millions by how many there are. This is actually the 62-year-olds against our sales counts. It's a pretty good correlation. And then 66 is kind of the official retirement age. And it doesn't quite resemble as much the 62, our sales patterns, and I think the 62 more kind of takes in early retirees. One last thing, this is a long chart average price of the whole market. This little blip right here was when the banks really let it loose and just basically gave out free money. And that's kind of what we're looking for now is everybody's looking for when this time is coming back, and it's really going to be tied to leverage. We were in a boom, which is what we're in now as the market went up to here. And then when the banks went crazy, and you also had Hurricane Charlie in here, which took a little inventory and dumped some insurance money into the market, which kind of overheated it a little more. But this was based on easy money and basically turned into a mania. And that's kind of what you got to watch for now is loan programs. If you have any thoughts or questions, why don't you give us a call at the office at 239-694-3300, and my extension is 102. And you can always, if you're watching this video, click the link below the video and fill the form out, and we will be in touch with you. Thanks for watching, and make it a great day.